Hope everybody's doing good. My name's Chad Free. I am a wealth strategist, and I believe that true wealth is an abundance of everything you value. Now, I know I say a lot of this on the repeat, but sometimes you got to hear it about 40, 11 times before it sinks in, right? Come on. Hope everybody's doing good this morning. It truly is my mission and purpose to help other people realize that they have a purpose and they need to get out of it, get out there and step into it. That's when you truly start living in abundance like we were meant to be. So, anyway, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Before we get started, let's get going with our affirmations. Now, don't say it if you don't believe it. Don't say it if you don't believe it. So go ahead. I'm going to let you read it first, but don't say it because I don't want you to lie to yourself and everybody here on the call. All right. All right. So, all together, I am created on purpose for a purpose. And you are created on purpose for a purpose. Put a 5 in the chat if you really believe that. Let's light this up. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Could you ever dream that I would talk about purpose just a bit? Just a bit, right? Just a bit. But I like to come at purpose at different angles. Look, Coach Burt calls it edutainment, right? I know that's just me. That's the way I deliver. I like to have fun. I get passionate. I don't hold back. I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, we're going to talk about 3 things today. And while that's good, I'm not the prim and proper dude, man. I'm just a redneck from Greenville, South Carolina, just outside of Greenville. And I am who I am because I'm walking in my purpose. I haven't arrived. It's not a destination, but it's a direction of daily steps and just trying to be who I need to be, who I was created to be. Got tired of trying to fit in when I was called to stand out. Got tired of realizing that I was living by default when I was supposed to be living by design. Got tired of being on the sidelines, hoping something shakes out in my favor and I could scoop it up and make it work. And I realized I was called to get in the game, man. Get in the game. And if I didn't, I'm robbing other people of the gift that God gave me. And I didn't even know what it was. And that's the cool thing. You don't have to know what it is. You just got to say, hey, I'm willing. God help me. Use me. That's it. That's it. It's just like that. All right. So let's talk about this today. The title of it is The Revelation Before the Revolution. As you know, I wrote a book called The Mindset and Money Revolution. Put my heart and soul and tears, and I don't think I shed any blood really, but I might have talked about some of that, you know what I mean? But it's everything. I poured everything into that book. And I was very authentic, very vulnerable, very transparent, because I think that's where I'm not better than anybody, right? I'm no better than anybody. You're no better than anybody. Nobody's better than you. You can't compare your chapter 2 to somebody else's chapter 10. Sometimes we let that happen. Sometimes we feel like we're behind the 8 ball, or we're behind in the race because of our age, because of this or because of that. But I'm here to tell you that you are right where you're supposed to be right now. Now, once you understand this, once you wake up, right? My t-shirts say wake up. Once you wake up to this, once you realize that you are created on purpose for a purpose, now it is your responsibility to start taking steps. And I think there will be some accountability if you don't. So the revelation before the revolution. Now, I put a post out the other day. It was from my it was a quote from my preacher, actually, this past Sunday. The purpose of what God has for you is paved with potholes. There is no victory without a battle. It's a whole lot of goodness in one quote. If you're avoiding the battlefield, you will never see giants slayed in your life. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. That's a lot of power inside of that. And you know, it all goes back. I say this verse a lot. And look, I'm just gonna throw this out there because this has something to do with it. I know I talk about God a lot, but you know what? That's what I'm called to do. I'm not preaching at you. I'm just sharing my story and the goodness and the work that he's done in my life. That's it. And I'm not going to bend from that. I'm not going to sway from that because that's what I'm called to do. So, anyway, all right. You must go there in your mind before you go there in the body. That's another thing that Coach Burt says, right? And I want to use some examples, some biblical examples of just how opposites work, right? How opposites work. When you have a revelation about something, it will create a conviction inside of you that comes from your spirit. And then you'll have a desire, and then you'll want to commit to that mission. I may say this a little bit later on, but some of the things that you struggle with or have struggled with, those challenges are the things that were equipping you to step into your purpose. I struggled with money for a long time. Never, ever, ever would I tell you that money was my master. That's just evil sounding, right? I mean, yeah, man, money is everything. I would never say that. But I'm going to tell you something. I found myself going to bed every night, just anxiety. And, oh, where's this money going to come from? And, oh, if I don't do this and I don't do that. Money was dictating how I felt, how my emotions were moved. It was crazy. So once you can't see the picture when you're stuck inside the frame. So you step outside of that, and money was my master. But once you master your money, now it's provision for your vision. Now it's a resource. Literally, it's a resource. It's no longer a source. Because when times were good, when I hit that big deal, I'm feeling good, man. But then let it go down. Let me lose a deal. Oh, I'm just, oh, God, that's terrible. That's no way to live. That's because my foundation was not right. See, now my foundation is my purpose. If I fall down, I promise you I'm getting right back up. Can't stop, won't stop. Going to the mountaintop, and I'm shouting it, right? Because I believe it, and I have a desire to tell it. And I just put it out there to the masses. It's my signature message, right? That you are created on purpose for a purpose. And for those of you that may have never heard my story, I'll give you a quick glimpse. I never knew this, but I always wanted to be like my dad. And I got so ingrained with that at a very early age that I began to live that out. And my dad had a house paid for at 35 and retired in his late 40s, right there at 50. We didn't live a glamorous life. He was just good with money. That's how I define success. And I was living my life in a panic mode because I was nowhere near the markers that he had hit. And my heart had to break for my eyes to be open, and I hit rock bottom. And the financial dude who wrote a book in 2017 about finances, and it's called Wake Up Your Retirement. The financial dude is flat on his face, broke because I went all in on an opportunity. And for the first time in my life, I am scared to death. I'm weeping. I'm in a fetal position. I don't know what to do. I'm established. I've been married for so long. I've got this house. I got 2 boys, and I did not want them to experience the ripple effect. That's dad's job, man. That's dad's job. I'm supposed to keep this boat up. I'm not going to just keep it up. I'm stabilizing it. I don't want them to feel the ripples. Dad's got you until dad didn't have you. Then all the lip service about I depend on God. Yeah, I depend on God. Then I knew what it meant, because I didn't have a clue what it meant until I had to depend on God. And is it that time, man, that time that God opened my eyes? Literally weeping. It was like I was at his feet. I think I crawled up in his lap in my mind. I need you. I gotta have you. And I heard him, not audible, but so clearly. I created you on purpose for a purpose. When I heard that, I wanted more, man. I wanted more because I was a mess. I was a hot mess, snotting and coughing. And I mean, just, it was ugly. I needed more of that. Please keep talking to me. And as I got myself together, it's like he sat me down in a chair, showed me a slideshow of my life. It's like, you've been trying to be like your dad your entire life. And because you're not hitting the markers he hit in his life, you're living your life in a panic mode, and you're missing all the blessings that are right here around you, right in front of your feet. Because I lived 2 years down the road when this deal closes and that partnership is established, and I get to this level and got to that level. And guess what? It was pure intentions, because it was for the benefit of my family. We get blinded sometimes. And that was me. I'm throwing the football with the kids, thinking about the deal closing tomorrow. That's no way to live, man. I was not present at all. At all. Man, I got off on a tangent right there, but maybe somebody needed to hear the context behind the contents of what I'm sharing with you this morning. And where in the heck is all this conviction and this excitement and all that stuff coming from? Well, there you go. I'm a changed man because of it. I walked away from that whole experience. My bank account was still broke, but my spirit was overflowing. And last thing I'll add, I didn't have a clue that that's the way I was living my life until God revealed that to me. And when I tell you that it wasn't just shackles that came off of my wrist, it came out of my pores, man. My dad didn't put that on me. I was obsessed with being like him. And I heard God say, I don't want to bless who you're trying to be. I want to bless who I created you to be. And that was it, man. I don't live a perfect life. I'm a jacked up son of a gun. I mess up every single day, but I promise you I'm heading in the right direction. 100. Ain't that right, Jada? Come on. All right. So here's the deal. I've been doing a lot of counseling lately. I'm blessed that people feel comfortable talking to me and just being open, because there's no judgment here, right? And that's not just personally, that's with their money. A lot of people are intimidated with that. But you got to start somewhere, right? And I get the most blessing and profit. There's internal profit that you cannot put a price on when you're able to help somebody and kind of give them a direction to move in. But here's the funny thing. Here's where I want to kind of start the lesson finally. Look here, it's 8:31 and I ain't even started the lesson yet. All right. All right. So when I finished Clemson, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't. I was trying to pick all the big stuff. Pharmaceutical salespeople make good money. Well, that's what I want to do. Sign me up. Guess what? You had to have 4 years of sales experience to get that job. How you gonna get 4 years of sales experience and you're just coming out of college? You had to have a 4.0 grade point average in college to get that special program. That wasn't me. But people came to me during college years too, and just talked to me, and I'm like, well, shoot, maybe I should go into counseling or something, Christian counseling. I don't know. I guess I was calling myself into something that I really wasn't called into, or maybe I was, but it wasn't the avenue God was calling me. Because your boy went to seminary for 1 semester, hated it. Oh my goodness, I hated it. I was miserable. I was miserable. It was a master's level class. I had never had any kind of undergrad in Bible stuff, theology, or nothing like that. They were fussing about what the scriptures were first written on, papyri, papuri, papa. I'm like, good, great. What happened to the main? Keep the main thing, right? So I left that. But God said He gonna take me to school in this business stuff because, man, I've been through some schooling. I've climbed a lot of ladders, knowing that they're against the wrong building, or realizing they were against the wrong building, and have a lot of success, but being empty inside, being put around wealthy people and learning their mindset, and then later on learning the money moves that they partake in. It was opposite of what I thought. Do you get it? The preparing, I was being equipped. I was learning lessons. I got to thinking about it, and even the preacher talked about it. The Bible's full of underdogs and opposites. He uses the most unlikely to do the supernatural stuff. Because guess what? I'm not the main character. He is. And I think sometimes we get to praying a lot about what we want and forget to ask what He wants. We put our good old plan together and say, hey, put that stamp on it, Lord, please. Instead of getting in line with Him and what He wants to do in your life first. Throw your sails up and let Him lead, guide, and direct you. Because if we don't, it's an uphill battle. So he started talking about David. Man, David was not even a candidate to be the king. He said, bring all the brothers together. And then David come along, the little one. He said, "Now you go back out there. We need you out in the field, in the keeping the sheep and all that stuff." He wasn't even in the lineup, man. He wasn't in the lineup. And all the brothers are there. They cry, and they say, "Hey, don't you got another one?" Yeah, but he's out there watching the sheep. Bring him over here. That mug got anointed in front of all the brothers. Opposites. Not a second string. That's right. Opposite. Do you think you're not worthy of something? You got a little dream inside of you in your noggin or down in your heart that's eating you up, pulling at you. You better not ignore it. The enemy's trying his best to keep you from pursuing your purpose. That's why now again, I say this a lot and I don't know where it comes from. 87% of people never discover their purpose. I don't know how they get that data. I mean, if you step back and you say, okay, this survey was done and I mean, they dead, right? I mean, no offense, but how are you going to do any kind of study? That's what they say though. 87% of people never discovered their purpose. But 72% of statistics, John, are made up on the spot, right? That's a joke. But literally, let's think about this. God doesn't look at the outside. He looks at your heart. And see, He uses the most unlikely. See, He used the shepherd boy to be a king and to be a warrior and defeat David. He used Joshua, who was born a warrior, came out of the womb fighting, to blow a daggum trumpet. You see what I mean? So it's opposites. We have plans, but God's purpose will prevail. We just got to allow him to use us. Because David protected, provided, and guided the sheep forever, he was being prepared to rule the nation. I mean, he was fighting lions and bears and all that stuff. But he stood there because he knew who had his back. And I want to ask you, where is your confidence level in whatever you're doing right now? Because confidence comes from the Spirit. I know somebody that knows a little something about confidence. She's to my left. She's about 7 o'clock. Rebecca Black. She knows a little thing or two about confidence. When your confidence, the special K confidence, comes from the King, man, you ain't scared because you know who's got your back. And you don't have to know what's in the room before you say yes. You just stepping because you know that's the direction you're supposed to be going in. And the provision will take place. It's literally day by day. I'm still learning this stuff. It's day by day. Where's this going to come from? It shows up. I promise you that. He was chosen because of his long and consistent obedience. The oldest brother thought he's supposed to be that king. He was like, you ain't. He started trashing on David. And guess what? When you start pursuing who God created you to be, you're going to have people trashing on you because they know that they are called to do something else, but they're not stepping in obedience to do it. And they mad because you are. We got to get stepping. And let me tell you something. You should never obey anyone giving you advice on how to do something when they are not obedient themselves. I don't care how much you love them. I don't care how much you look up to them. You are one of one. And you are responsible for your race. And there'll be accountability for that. But I'm telling you, the pain happens before the promises. But the promises are oh so good. John taught me something a while back. It's been a minute. He used it in a different context. It's like you can't unsee something. Once the toothpaste comes out of the tube, I tried my best to use it at the summit, and it crashed and burned, man. It crashed and burned. It was not good. I mean, I even had toothpaste, and I poured it out on the plate and all that stuff. Anyway, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. And what I'm saying is once you totally step into your purpose, you don't want to go back because you truly are experiencing that peace that passes all understanding and just knowing who's got you and that you are going in the direction. So many people are wandering aimlessly. And that just is empty. And it's because the lack of purpose. So the very thing that you've been challenged with and you've struggled with could very well be the time of being equipped to do what you're called to do. So, guys, that's what I got. That's what I got. That's what I got. That's what I got. I hope, I pray that this helps somebody today. Hope it was not just tickling your ears. I don't like cotton candy motivation stuff. I think it don't last. I hope it was transformational. I hope it opened your mind. All of us have a next step in our life. And some people that sit in the corner and not me. Even the best can become better. Even the best can become better. And I'll tell you this too. I'm not saying I'm a good coach. I'm not saying I'm a good advisor or anything like that. But I heard Myron Golden say this: a good coach, a good advisor, or whatever, is going to tell you something that don't make sense. We're all intelligent, but if it makes sense to you, you'd already be doing it. You have to open your mind. You have to listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. Understand that God might be wanting to show you something, a little revelation in your life. Because I was certain I had it all together. I couldn't. That's why I was so frustrated. I'm doing this right. I'm doing this right. I'm doing this right. I got all this. Da, 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 da. I wasn't open down here. And that's where true wealth is built, guys, from the inside out. Hey, thank you for letting me share my heart today with you. I appreciate it. I hope it did speak to somebody. And yeah, anybody got anything for me? Anybody got anything for me? Feel free to reach out to me too. Reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you, help you any way we can. Relationships are key, man. Love relationships. Anybody. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you. Nobody's got anything to say.
Chad, I think it was a great message. I'll jump on and say something. And I really like how you started it, where you said you have to have the revelation before the revolution can happen. And then you shared about your moment where you kind of like had that epiphany. And so, what was like one of the major changes that you made money wise with how you were, like, did you change the way that you were allocating money inside of your, like, your future and stuff like that? Like, how did money start becoming your resource and not your source of contentment?
I think that the revelation happened that that's what I was depending on the whole time. It was my source, and that it was meant to be a resource. And truly, I mean, honestly, we can go into this at a later time, but when I tell you that I got off of that floor that I was weeping on, and my bank account was still broke, still empty, but my spirit was overflowing. And I guess now, I mean, I'm just now connecting these dots because you asked the question. I was like David. I knew who had me. And can I tell you, it's a story that'll break people's brains. God provided. Let me just say that. God provided. Like right then, it was crazy. I
That's what
didn't
you
worry
can teach
about
us
money.
next week.
Yeah. Well, it has nothing to do with my choices or anything like that. But I'll tell you real quick. I literally had turned away from my private practice because I went all in on that opportunity with the big firm. And that's right, Latrice. Latrice, it was totally surrendered. But I got a call and they said, "Hey, I prior to that, I was doing some math and writing down something and just, God showed me what you want me to do. And $150,000 was just in my brain. If I had that, that would get me back on my feet. Because now I got a mission and a purpose. I'm not worried about money anymore. That was just the figure that came up, I could do this, and that'd get me stepping. And I literally got a call and asked if I was still doing that business. And I said, yes, I am. And she said, well, I need to put some money somewhere. And I said, okay. I said, how much? 150,000. And look, this may sound funny. It may not sound funny, but I want you to listen to this. I got to make sure I'm looking at you in the eye. I don't know where this came from as far as out of my lips. I had talked about or looked for angel investors or whatever because I was sold out to whatever he wanted to do. But she didn't want to lock her money up for a long time. She just wanted a decent return. Promise you. I said, I have a venture capital fund here. Those words had never come out of my mouth. I have a venture capital fund here at the free group that I could take on that money and give you, I can't remember, 6.5%. I came out with the terms and everything. Interest only for X amount, and then your return of principal will be this day. And she said, that's what I want to do. So God provided. God provided. Because he provided the word. He provided the words that come out of my mouth, Jada. So anyway, yes, that's it. That is it. And then it's on from there. It's just got, the right partners came, the right opportunities. Again, I owe John Hart so much credit for helping me and introducing me to folks. And he will qualify the called. He qualifies the called. So that's it.